Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to another exciting Deep Space Nine fan commentary. This time, I have Earl Grey Trekkie, aka Robbie, or the other way around. Uh, First time on this channel, I think. Is that correct?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
I hate to have you here on such a somber anniversary, but today we're here to have fun and watch the season 1, episode 7, Dex. And if I remember correctly, it's the one where she's accused of murder, or what is it? Curzon is accused of murder. She's held responsible.
If I remember correctly, it's a good episode.
Yes, it's been about 3 years since I've seen it, but uh, I think it's a good one. I mean, season 1 is a little underrated. I think. I think a lot of people, maybe in the latter half of the season, it goes downhill a bit. But so far, I've been having fun watching this first season.
I just finished Deep Space Nine rewatch recently, so the last episode I watched was What We Leave Behind.
So you're used to the really good stuff toward the end.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to do a 3-second countdown and we're going to start the episode after 3. Okay? Let me just cue mine up. Oh. 1 second. All right. Are you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, start. Station log, start 8469. Yeah, there you go.
I forgot how blurry it is in the earlier seasons.
You watching it on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's available on Netflix and Crave in Canada. And the Crave version is really, really poor quality. Netflix is slightly better, but it's still that 480p kind of DVD quality at best.
Is Paramount Plus the best quality?
Well, I don't have Paramount Plus, and Paramount Plus in Canada does not have any Star Trek on it.
Oh, okay.
But I know they're taking steps to eventually have everything worldwide be on Paramount Plus related to Trek, but the rights are pretty much all over the place right now in terms of streaming rights.
Yeah, because I heard it's been taken off Netflix in the US.
3 shows, I think, are being taken off. I think Voyager stays. I think DS9 and Voyager. The animated series I know is definitely going. TNG. I should probably just look it up to make sure.
Yeah, we're still at the creepy stage of Julian. It's funny after watching him in season 7.
Yeah, he's a creeper in season 1 for sure.
It's funny because a lot of the English people are. I mean, a lot of the English people in Star Trek seem to be creepy, like Reed and Bashir.
Oh, he's actually doing something heroic. Man, he can hit pretty hard though. He hesitates because it's like, oh, it's a woman. I can't.
To be honest, I feel like Dax could have put up more of a fight, knowing that she has Curzon's memories.
She's very. I call her the soft Dax in at least season 1. I'm not sure. I can't really remember what she's like in season 2, but definitely season 1. She's like a prototype of the character. She's not fully developed, and very soft spoken and not as tough. Like when she hooks up with Worf, like you discover that like she's fucking badass. But it takes a while for her character to get there.
When Lever Burton was directing Dax, I can't remember the episode. It was a later one, I think, in season 6. He called Terry Farrell or Dax an action Barbie.
An action Barbie.
Yeah,
Is that in the documentary What We Left Behind?
I think it might be.
There's one point where Terry Farrell is pissed about being killed off.
Yeah. And I don't think we'll ever know the real story behind that because Rick Berman's in that documentary, and you just you see her crying, and it's obviously very tough for her. And you cut straight to Michael Dorn saying that the people that know what happened or something to that effect, and
Oh yeah,
uh, it's a bit unfortunate.
yeah. He. I don't know. All these shows have that behind the scenes drama. I remember Denise Crosby had a story about. I think it was Rick Berman who was like had this like adios kind of attitude toward her. Like I don't can't remember the exact story, but he remembered her departure more fondly than she did. You've heard, and I'm not like wanting to shit on Rick Berman or anything, but I've heard stories that he's been a jerk from time to time. This episode features Data's mom, or at least the actress who plays or played Data's mom, Philona Flanagan. She's an Irish actress.
Oh, is she the woman from Lost?
I've not seen Lost,
Oh, okay.
um, but let's see if she's been in Lost.
Yeah, I think she plays Data's mum
Yes,
in Inheritance, the TNG episode Inheritance.
she was in Lost. She's been in a lot of things, um, from Gunsmoke to Bonanza to Streets of San Francisco, How the West Was Won, Murder She Wrote, Columbo, Deep
She's
Space Nine, and The Next Generation, Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
she's in a Star Trek Enterprise season 1 episode.
Ah, yeah, she plays Valar, a Vulcan, in the episode Fallen Hero. She's not appeared in the episode yet, but
Anne Haney, who plays the judge in this episode, she played the wife in TNG's The
The
Survivors.
Survivors, one of my favorite TNG episodes. She's also in like Mrs. Doubtfire
Yeah,
and stuff like
that's
that.
that's hilarious. That's one of my favorite films. It's funny rewatching TNG after you finish Deep Space Nine because TNG is still great, but um, at least in those earlier seasons, it's nowhere near the same. I've been watching with my mum, and she's watching for the first time and enjoying it.
That's good. So they're trying to kidnap her to make her stand trial for Curzon's crimes. We don't know this yet. Like this is all like, what do they want with Dex? They spend an awful lot of time on this too.
From what we've heard of Curzon, he seemed to not care much for the rules and be quite a rowdy character.
A rowdy character, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a party dude. Gotcha. extremities where I can see them. What is the name of this species? I gotta look this up. Okay, Island Tendro. He's a Clestranian. See, I don't know. I see this is weird. It's like we have a valid warrant for her arrest. We're going to obtain her completely illegally and knowing we probably won't get away with it. I mean, like, ugh. Do you
It's
think
so
did they think she was not going to be pursued? Like, I don't understand. Do they not know what Starfleet is?
so stupid that she's been charged for basically someone she isn't anymore. Uh, the only thing that's the same is the Dax symbiont. She's a different character altogether.
It's the whole courtroom element of this episode that comes up later. I don't know why, but maybe it reminds me of A Measure of a Man,
Hmm.
because in that they're trying to prove that Data is sentient, or one side is trying to prove that Data is sentient, and one is trying to prove that he's just a machine. And here it's like one side's trying to prove that it's weird because she's not, she is and she isn't Curzon type of thing. And there's, they go through this whole thing of like, is she different from the Trill before? You know how the when she was a Trill before she was joined, she's one person. So when she's joined with the Trill, that makes her another person because she's melded with all these different lives. But like, how responsible is she for each one of those lives? And Curzon was fairly recent, and they established she does have memories of everything, so she knows the whole time what went down. Like, she doesn't say anything, and that's a weird thing too. It's like she doesn't she doesn't reveal. I think it's an affair that happened. She doesn't reveal that, and I found that frustrating. It's like,
I think a complaint about this episode would be that Dax doesn't stand up for herself enough, and I love that Cisco does because he's her good friend, but I think Dax could have been a little less quiet and revealed a bit more.
it almost feels like he's carrying the weight of it, and like he's like us. He's like, what's the matter with you? What? It's like we've all had that encounter with somebody who just won't give up the goods, won't tell us what's wrong or what happened, and it's like, you know, just tell me, god damn it. But it has to remain a mystery so we can find out at the very end.
I
But
suppose she might. Sorry.
no, go ahead.
I suppose she might just be a little bit shocked still, and in a state of doubt and maybe a little fear, and it's kind of keeping her quiet.
Even this here where she's like, Benjamin, you're still my dear friend. I'm not blaming Terry Farrell, but it seems, I don't know, her character's like stagnant, the right word? I don't know.
Yeah, she doesn't seem very emotional given her situation.
Emotionally engaged, yeah, she doesn't seem like, I don't know if it required more direction, but yeah, she's the Jadzia Dax she becomes later on in the show is just so much better and more interesting than the early version of her. It's just, she is kind of boring. I don't mean to shit on her character or Terry Farrell, but it is what it is.
No, I think that's fair. She becomes a lot spicier, and um,
That's a good word, spicier.
the way I see her later on in the shows, she becomes like she becomes this character who gives off a lot of one-liners and jokes. Um, she's quite a good vessel for humor.
This guy is Gregory Itzin. He's also a recognizable kind of like day player kind of actor where he's never the star of anything, but he's always in something.
You've got to love these conversations between Quark and Odo.
Business is business. That's going to come back to bite him in the ass.
I love that Odo just he feels like he's such a a grumpy old man character who's nearing retirement or something, and he's just sick of Quark's crap.
And this is his way of like getting his kicks. This is the most entertainment he gets out of his day, is just antagonizing Quark. I feel kind of good now.
And we do get a bit of development when Odo actually lets Quark go ahead. That one time he's on a date with Kira, and he lets Quark go ahead with a shady operation.
Oh yeah, can't quite remember exactly, but I'll get there. There's a lot of kind of filler, like it's a bit of a slow episode at first. I like when Trek goes into like kind of courtroom dramas. Like there's a couple in TNG. There's Measure of a Man. There's what's the one with the guy with the Romulan grandfather?
Oh, Drumhead.
The drumhead. Yeah.
Vigilance, Mr. Worf. That is a price we have to continually pay. Yep,
There
I
she is.
love this actress.
She's a great voice. She's often cast as someone with authority. And she has a kind of like wholesome southernish accent, but like commanding as well. Anne Haney. She passed away 20 years ago in 2001. I had no idea she was gone that long.
She does give the presence that she's, been doing this role for quite a lot of years as a judge.
She played Rishon Uxbridge. Rishon. In that episode you mentioned, the survivors.
And she wasn't even real in that episode.
Her filmography is not as vast as I thought it would be. It's kind of like a lot of very small parts and things. Like small parts in like Cheers, Golden Girls, Twilight Zone, Quantum Leap, Northern Exposure. I think in film, I think she actually is most known for her role in Mrs. Doubtfire as Mrs. Sellner. She's also in Liar Liar, but I mean, I can't remember her in that. The last thing she appeared in was Curb Your Enthusiasm. She played Mary Steenburgen's mother. And
Do you have
all of this occurs because two people can't reveal a secret that's like totally inconsequential now. In fact, keeping it a secret, like both Dax, Jadzia, and or Curzon or whatever, and the lawyer's mother, I forget her name, but yeah, but the plot has to happen. So yeah, what were you gonna say?
Do you have a preference of the DS9 uniforms?
I like I like when they go into the first contact uniforms. I think they're the best ones. It's because I can't tell what color it is. That's why. I'm like, is it red or purple or gray? But people say it's gray, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I see some color in there. I don't know why. I have a weird color vision thing. Like his Cisco's red on his uniform looks like kind of like a violet red to me.
Mm.
Some people may not see it that way, I guess. Anina Tandro is the character's name. That there you go.
I feel like Renee pretty much nailed Odo from almost the start. I mean, he gets even better, but he's a fantastic actor throughout the whole show.
Yeah, the spirit of the Odo character is there from the beginning. It's just that the makeup changes and his line delivery and his inflection changes. He's much softer in the early episodes, but he gets more gruff as it goes along, right?
And sometimes he sounds quite sarcastic when he's, almost joking with Quark.
He could be genuinely saying like, "Oh, really?" But the way he
Yeah.
says it is like, "Oh, really?" Like, there she is. She, I don't think she plays Irish characters that much, but I don't think. But you can always hear her Irish accent, no matter what she's doing. Like it's, I'm not criticizing. It's just a thing. It's like you'll hear Mel Gibson's Australian accent in a lot of his earlier movies, even though he's playing an American.
She has quite a soothing voice.
Curzon could not have sent that transmission because he was in me bed. That's basically what happened, right?
Yeah. It is so realistic though, and it's such a not a simple answer, but I know it's something you wouldn't expect. This.
I can't remember who it was who sent the transmission that got her husband killed. I think I don't know. I guess they'll reveal it. Or she doesn't even know he died. It'd be interesting if she's like, 28-year-old woman. Okay, sure.
Maybe that should have been a
I can work with
sequel.
that.
That is quite sad when you think about it. I mean, how many times does the Dax character change and then just, I don't know, move on from her friends or not inform people that she's basically a new person?
Yeah. He's familiar looking. He looks like Doug Jones almost.
Do you know why they changed the Trill makeup?
because it was simpler.
That and they wanted something that wouldn't cover up Terry Farrell's face too much. They wanted to showcase her beauty.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that original Trill makeup, which they never address, and they could have done it in Discovery with like have like one person there in that makeup, and be like, hey, some of them have the dots and some of them have the facial prosthetic stuff, but who cares? I'm glad they changed it because that was some crude makeup then. And remember the way they did the symbiote? It was like in his belly, and it was like alien,
Yeah.
and it like moved around and stuff. It was just like pro. It was proto. It was like the seed of the idea of the grander society that they present in DS9. It's much more fleshed out. I mean, this is just the beginning of it here. Like, it's the first time we're ever actually learning any details about how the Trill works. Like, if you didn't, obviously, you never saw the show, this is a lot of new information. Even though in previous episodes they talk about, like, you know, Dax has a symbiote and she's that's lived many lives and she has the memories and blah blah blah, and they they reiterate it to a certain degree in the early episodes, but this is the first one they go into like stark detail. It's like I said with Measure of a Man, it's like the way they examine data.
It's a shame that we never got an episode that focused on Cisco and Picard, like another crossover in DS9.
Yeah. Better yet, First Contact, if some of the DS9 crew, not only Worf, were there helping out on the Enterprise.
I feel like if Cisco had been on the Enterprise, either Picard or Cisco would try to attack the other because, well, Picard was so action whole in First Contact.
Well, Cisco would run into Picard in the hallway, and he'd be like, "Look at what you started. This is all your goddamn fault." He's like, "Now that gavel that she just used, I'm pretty sure that's the gavel from the Undiscovered Country that the Klingon uses in the courtroom. It's a round thing, except in the movie it makes sparks. Or
So
maybe it's
dramatic.
just. I think they probably use that in other episodes too. It's never a gavel, like an old fashioned gavel. It's always like a ball.
So extra and dramatic with the sparks.
Yeah. Now, see, that's an easy answer. No.
I wonder if Bashir is thinking right now, if I get her out of this situation, maybe I can go on a wee date afterwards.
Yeah. It's he just needs to go to the Hollow Suite more often, I guess. Yes, how does the Trill brain work?
I wonder if that's like a telepathic link.
Ultimately, the answer to the question is no, she is not Curzon. And I don't they delve deeper into like another past life. One of her past lives was like this guy who assassinated people. Am I
Oh yeah,
remembering that?
they. I can't remember the name now, but
Season 7, I think. It
season
has to be
seven.
because it's Ezri.
Um, and basically Ezri somehow can wish up her Trill predecessor, um, and he tries to encourage her to kill this Vulcan murderer who's killing people because they are all smiling in their pictures. It's
Now,
very
do you
weird.
that could because in Discovery they do this thing with God, Blue Blue DeBarrios character. Uh, was Adira?
Yeah,
Adira.
Adira.
Uh, what's the name of their boyfriend?
Gray.
Gray. Gray. Do you think they probably took that? The fact that a past life can just project itself like they're there in the room with you.
Um, I think so. I mean, there even when I've been rewatching Star Trek, I've seen a lot of things that resemble Discovery a little too much. Like I know it's just a silly thing, but in Enterprise they have the same name, Kaminar. Um, I think it's a ship name. Um, in one of the episodes, and then we have Kaminar now in Discovery. Um, and all sorts of different things, but
Maybe like they went back and just took inspiration here and there.
yeah.
I think they do that with the novels too. Good answer. But
See the
what evidence is there to do all this though? I mean, I know it's not a trial yet, but I don't know.
suppose
A lot of roundabout conversations in this. It's like making the same points over and over again.
yeah, it's a bit of a trope, I suppose, in Star Trek that the accuser, usually messes up on uh, one
Small
um
essential fact.
yeah, like in oh, what's the DS9 episode where Worf is on trial and you find out it was actually the judge. No, um the kind of opposing party that actually um committed the crime Worf is being accused of. And he just makes a silly little mistake, and then Worf slaps him because he kind of riles Worf up.
Yeah, can't. That's a DS9 episode.
Yeah, season 5, I think, if I remember correctly. Um, and there's a Vulcan that's the judge.
Oh, see, here's some relevant information. This is where the like. This is where the affair is kind of realized. The wife. We're knocking boots.
No, he was definitely supporting some emotional.
If they were.
I like how Odo's onto it straight away.
Yeah, Odo's not taking any sides. He's just like following the trail. Wherever the facts lead him, he's not gonna. He's like, I wouldn't put it past him.
I like his.
He's a very he's he's a good bad cop in a way. Like he's always.
I like Odo's quote where he says, "Laws change depending on who's making them, but justice is justice."
Yeah.
And I think that probably ties into his character having killed Bajorans on Terek Nor. Maybe some of his guilt has changed his character a bit when Starfleet comes along.
Hmm. Oh, apparently was he a jerk?
No, it doesn't say he was a jerk or anything, but he did
No, I mean her
basically.
husband. Her husband.
Oh, I can't remember.
She's like, that was very Irish. She's like, the hero died for his people. Did she kill him? Did she send the transmission? Okay, I don't know yet. I'll figure it out in a second.
It's very honorable of Dax, at least, but
Oh, I hate that
she's
he's still talking, like trying to get something out of her. And you just want Dex to just say something.
yeah,
Silent treatment is very irritating.
really Dax should open up sooner, but then you wouldn't have an episode, I suppose. Especially when they're such good friends, or they had such a good friendship.
It's like, then what? He's asking what's holding you back, and he's frustrated like us. And it is like a story trope. It's like, we're gonna save it for the end. But the way she's acting is just so weird. Oh, it's grating. I don't know why.
It's kind of like she's an
It's
android or not a Vulcan, but she's very stoic about it.
yeah, it's an awkward episode. Like, and this, like, it converts to laughing all of a sudden. It doesn't work for me. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I know why, because it's the early stages, and
Maybe it's
it's still a bit rusty.
maybe it's nervous laughter, but it doesn't seem that way at all.
Like, everything she's saying now, I don't care, because you're not helping your friend here. Like, and he's literally now on his knees begging.
I do feel a bit bad for Terry Farrell because I think she was around 25 when she got cast in Deep Space Nine, and I think it was her first gig.
Hmm.
And she's with all of these amazing actors who have been on other shows. I mean, Avery Brooks from Hawk, and you must feel like quite a fish out of water, um, especially Nicole DeBoer when she took over as Esri. She only got one season, and they'd already established a grip.
So what we're getting a big revelation from her here. It's like now it's back to like I'm not going to tell you whether I killed him or not. all she has to say is, does she say like, no, I didn't. I didn't kill the fucking guy. I didn't send the transmission. But it's probably, I guess she's protecting. What's her name? Anina.
At the risk of her relationship with Cisco.
I like that line. You're about the same age as my granddaughter. She still got that wholesome southern charm. She's like, I'm just a good old Bajoran raised on a farm. Her accent isn't that thick, though. This is where it's first established about like the how trills are joined and like it's a competition and it's almost like the Olympics. It's like you got to be the best mentally and physically to endure something like that.
So I suppose that means that other trills are basically, they just look no, they don't look human. They still have the spots, but they have spots and that's it, really.
Yeah. So many humanoids, like true humanoids in Star Trek, to where it's just like just human beings with little things here and there. I suppose if you had the technology, you could do some weird, like, you could make humanoid species still look very human, but just tweak things or whatever. They tried to do that now with the makeup, but they go full face mask now with everything. Everything's like an entire mask. It's just too much.
I mean, there will only be certain actors that want to do that, but sometimes you have to just vary it up a bit because yes, you have all this technology to create full face masks and you have the budget, but you can't do that all the time. You have to have some variety.
Yeah.
And it would also link back to, TNG DS9.
Oh, we have an interruption. I'm here to set the record straight.
I've been having an affair with O'Brien.
I'm sorry I put you through all of this nonsense, son. I let you go through all of this humiliation. The son's like, hold on a second. You better not say it. Oh, his reaction. Mother! My goodness.
So that's
No,
why
we don't.
this.
We actually don't know who sent the transmission. Then the judge is like, "You wasted my time, people." There is much of Curzon that is still a part of me. She's like an android.
I mean, you can't really blame Terry too much because, it's her first gig, but it does it does show in the character, and I think the fact that the writers weren't completely sure, how to build on this character who behaves like an old man but is in a young
Okay,
person's body.
he was the one that her husband was going to betray his people. Wait, I get it. Aline, I'm reading the description. And Nina talks privately with Dax of how no one must ever know that her husband had sent the coded message himself in an attempt to betray his own people, and the rebels killed him for the favor. Okay. I forgot about that. I was like, who sent the damn transmission?
It must be so weird seeing people you've been in a relationship with as a trail, and then you're a different host.
And like
It
you're
would be,
taller or shorter, and like they look different to you.
yeah, it would be so awkward.
Yeah, it was an okay episode. I thought it would be better for some reason, but then the whole roundabout, like, I mean, I guess because I already know about trills and stuff like that, it's just old news. But as a courtroom drama, it was a little repetitive. It wasn't even a trial, like you said. It's like an arbitration or whatever you call it. But yeah, what do you think?
Um, I enjoyed it a lot more on my first watch. Maybe that was just because I hadn't watched for all of Deep Space Nine and I was going for season one, but um, it's still a good um, bit of character development for Dax that we find out about. They seem to like putting Dax in relationships from Worf to um, this woman, and then of course, oh, I can't remember the Bajoran. No, the
No, we don't have to get too much into like later on what
okay.
happens. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's much better. It gets better with her character, much better as it goes on. And actually, that the episode where the controversial episode that had the first I think lesbian kiss in any like drama or at least sci-fi. Uh, that was a real that was a better exploration of a past uh, life than this episode because they actually dared to go there. Like this woman was in love. I think it was Curzon. I suppose it was Curzon because this woman's not that old, so it had to have been Curzon, I guess. And now that they're still in love, even though she's in Judzia's or the host is in Judzia's body, and they did something very risky back then, which was like everybody just like lost their minds if there was same sex kind of stuff on TV. It was just the way it was. People were just weird about it. Hopefully, we're getting over that now, but yeah, they dared to go there, and the whole trans kind of metaphor for trills and stuff. You could say it was ahead of its time back then, even though they don't really directly address it. But yeah, interesting stuff, but it does get better.
Yeah. Um, Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
Even
you.
if um,
Thank you for joining me. And hopefully in the future we can get like multiple people on here for the really good episodes. Like there's one coming up, Move Along Home, which is a notoriously bad episode that I want to get a few people on for that. But yeah,
as
thank you for joining me, Robbie. It's been great. And do you have anything to promote before you leave?
um, not really. Just no. I don't have anything to
Well, you can
promote
go to
right now.
Robbie's channel, Earl Trekkie, and check out all of his commentaries for various films in the what are you doing now? Like DC movies?
We're doing Spider-Man right
Oh,
now.
Spider Man. Yeah, yeah. Check that out, folks. And until next time, live long and prosper.